This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. A little show we do. We talk about what's going on over, right? What they're doing with the game, what they plan to do with the game, what hasn't happened in the game, but we're assuming has, and how many pigeons are in the air at any given time. It is an estimate, so don't hold us to it.
14.
Good guess.
Thank you.
So we got some cool stuff this week. We got a new champion sneak peek. Sneak peek at the moment. We don't have any information about him. Darius Vicarian.
Denoxia?
We have some cool stuff that's been hinted at. There's a graphical rework for our fair land in the Summoner's Rift. A big graphics overhaul for that. New models for creature. Well, not new models, but updated models, so to speak. They've got some cool model reworks coming up for Ashe. And just a bunch of neat stuff we can all look forward to. But the one thing everyone's probably been thinking about is Darius, the Noxian general. He is, lore-wise, before we get started, he is the other main general in the Noxian, sort of cadre right now.
So right now the generals would be Swain.
Swain's not a general; he's a tactician.
Oh, he's
no. It's Darkwill. It's Kalisa Darkwill or something. It's Kaelin. It's something with a K. Darkwill, and Darius, and Swain.
I thought who else?
They're most.
Scion. I thought Scion was a general.
No, Scion's just an enforcer now. But Swain has actually allied himself with Darius. You can read that in the Journal of Justice. So it's a very interesting lore character. Swain and Darius are going to be bros, throwing down and stuff. So I imagine Darius is either in on Swain's schemes or he's being used. Neither would surprise me at this point with Swain's abilities. But Darius, speaking functionality abilities, looks like he's going to be an AD caster. They've sort of hinted that he is going to be an AD caster type. Sort of similar to, let's say, Renekton, in that a bulk of his damage and ability comes from activated abilities, kind of in the way Pantheon does, as another example, sort of how you sync all your abilities into this. I mean, your auto attacks still do damage. I mean, you got a base AD that's just massive. But as far as what he does, looking at his lore, I have some guesses. The first and most important one is they've said that he's very violent, and he's gotten to where he is via brute strength and beheadings in particular. So I see him having an ability almost like Axe from Dota, where if they're at a certain HP threshold, he just does one mighty swing, bing, and they're dead instantly. Otherwise, it does flat damage.
I don't. Well, that would be his old kind of like Garen's pop.
It might be similar to Garen's, except it would be like a percentage or a flat HP threshold.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't say, okay, does this much damage and then this much more based on how much health they're missing, where it's like, okay, if they have 15% health or less, possibly, they instantly die if he uses this ability.
That would cause... I don't know about that.
That'd be good. Because right now there's a lot of crummy champions that get really easy escapes. You got your Volley Bear, you've got supports with heals.
Yeah, you got all of them. But people would just complain too much about it. It would cause too much trouble, even though it would be very nice to have. I personally would love it because there's so many instances where I just see people walk off with barely anything and just melee champions. They just be like, oh, flash, we're gone.
I mean, there's already a lot of unmitigatable executes. I mean, Cho'Gath's true damage feast is essentially, hey, are you at this HP threshold? Yeah, you're dead.
Okay, so if there's a lot of that in the game, we could probably have one more. But since he's new, it'd be a problem and he'd be overpowered.
Certainly. And since he is an AD caster, he probably will have some cool abilities that go with his axe. Maybe like a cleave where he swings around in front of him.
It looks like he's holding it with his axe arm in front, and then behind him he has a shield, so he's a one-handed
that's
axe?
just his other fist.
Oh. So...
Yeah, it's a two-handed axe. No, that's like his armor, I think.
Okay, because
he's got a big barra boot in the back.
Okay, yeah, that's weird because it looks like he's kind of. I didn't know he'd be two-handed axe or axe shield.
Oh, that axe is way too big for one hand.
Hey, this guy could be a badass.
I guess this is League of Legends. His right arm is a lot stronger than his left arm.
Hey-o!
But he looks really neato. I'm excited to see his abilities. I mean, he's Noxian Garen, for God's sake. I mean,
Denuxia!
I said that about Riven. Riven ended up being kind of stupid. I mean, she's a neat champion, but she's not Noxian, and she's overplayed.
Renegade. She's a renegade.
She's overplayed, and she's silly. But I hope this guy's cool, and he brings the brutish feel to Noxus, because there's not really a strong male figure. I mean, you have Swain, but he's not really a tough guy. You have Scion, but he's not really a human.
And you got Urgot, which is a crab.
A giant enemy crab.
But so, yeah, he needs to... You've got a lot of very strong female characters, but you really don't have that huge, threatening male champion.
And I know I always talk about how I want interesting champions and stuff that looks cool, like Nautilus is really great for me. But... And how I dissed on Fiora for this very same reason. And really, I shouldn't be excited, because he does look like a very generic, archetype. But I have a thing for dudes in giant armor, because that for a long time, in any RPG, that was the guy I played. I was a giant, just melee death machine.
Well, when I first saw him, he did look a little bland, and the first thing I did think was, is this Garen's brother that was taken away during the war and raised to be a Noxian? But I want to see what his knight or his blood skin is going to be. His blood commander, or what?
His commando, or not commando, but
Blood Knight.
It's not Blood Knight. It's the Crimson Elite. Yeah, Crimson Elite.
Sorry, I'm thinking too much of like Blood Elf thing there.
I am the law.
Yeah, I just want to see what his is going to be like, because that's what I'm interested in.
I have all the Crimson Elite skins so far. I'm excited.
So yeah, let us know what you guys think.
I have all the Commando skins. Now I gotta get all the Crimson Elites.
Collect them all!
I'm excited.
Yeah, we don't have any skills out. They'll probably come out at the end of the weekend or
like right after the show comes out.
Or while I'm editing, and I'll be in a furious rage.
It'll be great. But Darius, looking forward to it. Let us know what you guys think, and chastise us if we missed out. We have some other cool stuff. Like I said, they're doing a graphical update for Summoner's Rift. They're updating some creeps in there. They're making the whole map look a lot better. I'm excited. The only thing I'm bummed out about is they're getting rid of Doran.
Wait, I know. I thought Doran was the little Yordle guy.
No, Doran was the purple guy. He sold us all our items. He's the guy who made the Doran's blades.
Yeah,
he was a brilliant smith, and then he got kicked in the head, and he's not smart anymore. But now they're replacing him with a Yordle, and that's...
Wait, really? Did he really got kicked in the head?
He got hit in the head or something, but it knocked him out, and he lost like all of his competence. But he still makes stuff, and he works in the league.
Why would they take just the vendor, and instead of just making him that guy, replace him with a...
Because... Teemo!
But,
yeah, so there's some cool stuff there. If you guys have looked around, you might have seen that they're updating Ashe's model this week. Look forward to that. I play Wodash because she looks bad, and they've made Wodash look good, and I'm really bummed out.
Yeah, I do like the changes to Ashe. She's not just a really thin figure anymore, because she actually has some depth to her. You actually can see more than just her cloak and her bow, and actually
yeah, but now her messed up abdomen on Wodash is gone.
Yeah, I know.
What am I gonna do? Ugh.
She got plastic surgery. It's alright.
Probably. And you know what? There's a lot of cool stuff. They've confirmed that Athene's little goblet is probably going to be in this patch. Look forward to that.
The overpoweredness.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
Oh, hi, I'm Brand. Look at all the magic resist I have. And all
I'm Karthus. I can just have W and E and Q and R.
I was hoping for something they'd build Chalice into, but not just the god Chalice.
And they also mentioned that Soraka's getting a rework soon. Not a rework, but a remodel. And they're going to release an additional skin with that. So there's a bunch of cool stuff coming, and a bunch of cool stuff coming in the patch.
Few champions are getting some skins. One of them is very highly needed, and I'm excited for that one.
Indeed. But we don't know if they're coming out with this patch, or they're kind of setting them scattered along like they usually do. They sort of branch them out sometimes.
Yeah. But no news on the other Varus skin.
Say what? I know. I've been playing a lot of Varus. I think we actually have a video of that going on right now. And yeah, still no skin on him. Hopefully they've developed that soon. Who knows? But we have some sales this week as well. They're doing the same Mundo theme this week. But who do we got for champions?
We have Singed, Ezreal, and Heimerdinger.
These are 3 champions that sort of had their heyday long in the past. Singed is still very strong. He's a really big jerk. Hard to kill. Really annoying. But he kind of gets outshined by a lot of the other tanky guys. He's sort of in a league of his own in terms of playstyle. So if you're looking for something very different, try him out. Ezreal used to be the best AD ever. He was the greatest thing and everyone played him constantly. Skill shots, shooting around is great. He's kind of gotten nerfed and he's fallen behind some of these other AD carries, but he's still very unique in his role, focusing on hit effects, boosting his allies, and doing damage from an incredible range. Check him out. And then finally, Heimerdinger up.
Another unique gameplay style.
Yeah, no, very unique, very bad. He's sort of a champion you really gotta tunnel to play. You really gotta learn him, every little tip, every little trick he has to just play him effectively. He can do damage. He can be very frightening, but he can just as easily fall apart.
Definitely, if you play him too defensively, he gets out of. You won't be able to help your team too much. If you play too much aggressively, he's gonna get eaten alive. So
indeed.
For skin sales this week, speaking of Heimerdinger, we have Blast Zone Heimerdinger.
This is sort of an interesting skin for him. A lot of his focus is on, having different themes, like, different turrets and being from a different place or working on a different occupation. This one's just sort of, he failed at what he does. So if you want to show yourself as a complete failure, check this skin out.
Next up, we have Hired Gun Graves.
This is sort of the rough and tumble Graves. If you want to be the action hero, this is definitely one to pick out. The gun looks really cool. The skin looks really cool.
Goofy because he has like the jean jacket on with the arms ripped off.
It's hysterical. It's great.
Finally, we have Totemic Maokai.
This isn't really my favorite Maokai.
It's my favorite skin.
I mean, the Christmas one I think is by far the favorite, but you can't really get that one anymore. The 2 Maokai skins he came with at release, I was never really a big fan of, and this one, I've never been too impressed.
Between the 2, this is the one I bought, and this is the one I used. Because I love the theme, kind of like the totem, the witch doctor theme, and this is kind of one of the few classes that actually had it back in the day. So having the skin was really nice. The seeds look different, he looks different, he's a lot bigger, he's thorned more, he's not like on fire, and he's not brown. He's a lot more colorful, and his arm, you actually can see the glowing eyes and stuff a bit better, so you can know when you're targeting your passive on it. So it's a very nice skin.
Oh, the eyes glow when the target.
The eyes glow, but it's harder to see on the Ashe one.
Oh.
So if you're gonna pick up a skin, this one's a lot better as far as gameplay, because if you're not paying attention to the stats on the buff, you can see it glowing on the eyes of his right arm.
Neat. And for only 260 RP, that's not a bad deal.
Not at all.
And that's it for official news this week, guys. We're gonna move on to our own section here. We've got some cool questions. Our first question comes from Miggy Knot. He says, there's been talk here and there about Riot working on an archetypal caster. Do you have any thoughts on what you might like to see for this type of champion? Maybe like Dota's Root Felon or Furion? The archetype of a caster,
I have no idea what that is, actually, so...
it's sort of the basis. Like, an archetype, for an example, of a knight or... Alright, let's say, for example... When you think of an archetypal wizard, like when I say wizard, you probably think of like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
right?
That archetype. I thought there was like a special archetype for like in MOBA style game type thing.
But an archetypal nature caster, like something from the woodlands. A lot of people thought that Maokai was going to be sort of that guy. But other than really throwing his tree or his little seedling,
he's more of a melee character.
He's more of a melee character. We've had a lot of characters that come and fill specific roles. For instance, you have Sejuani for Frost. You have Brand for Fire.
Well, I can kind of consider Lulu the nature type of character.
Well, that's more like Fae, and there's nothing really nature about it. But Root Felon and Furion sort of focused on conjuring up trees to block people off, using roots, shooting damage across the map. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff about him. And Root Felon, he focused on, like, he would put down trees as wards. He would go invisible around tree roots. He could root people in place. He was really neat. As far as what I'd like to see for a nature caster, I think something having to do, almost like Furion, some of Furion's abilities where, he can conjure up trees to block people off. I would like to see that, but the reason that ability wasn't busted in half in Dota was because you had things like Quelling Axe and your tangos, where you could break down the tree and get out. They'd really have to kind of tone down its effectiveness and make it more like a wall ability rather than a surround.
A lot of effects in Dota involved actually eating trees and using stuff like that, because that game had the tree resource system in Warcraft 3, so you were able to do that. League of Legends doesn't have that.
Unfortunately not. So I would like to see a nature-based caster maybe taking advantage of putting up walls of trees. Maybe the trees themselves would have hit points, and you could knock them down. I think it'd be really cool, and you could do something really fun like that.
I'd like to see the sapling thing from Warcraft 3, where they target trees and then like 3 little minions would pop out.
Well, that was one of his abilities, is he would knock down a bunch of trees and tree ants would come out. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to see something like Furion. I don't think Root Felon's diversity of abilities really fit in, but if they did Furion in a modified way where they could still knock down trees, except it'd be a unique model of tree. That'd be neat. And good question.
Good question. Done. Done.
Our next question is on the forums this week. It comes from Leonardo Lull. He says, after many hours of checking the League of Forums and the fan directions champion concepts, I've had a lot of ideas from people, and they work really hard on a champion that wants to be made for the next event. Do you think Riot will make a champion from players? And if you think you'd get any benefit or credit from it?
Well, the problem with this is...
Well, before we get to that, let me preface this by saying Riot does use ideas from the community. Volibear, for instance, and of course they've done it with tons of skins. You have one of the Morgana skins, Surprise Party Fiddlesticks, Bunny Girl Riven. There's tons of them. So, I mean, they do take ideas from the community. I don't think it's that far-fetched. And Volibear was a big push by the community to get made.
They wanted a bear champion, and there was that war between Zilius and the Riot community and stuff like that. So there was that whole deal. But
so I do think it's possible. As far as getting credited, I heard rumors that the guy who made the Morgana skin did get a little bit of monetary kickback, but I think it's unlikely, and even getting a job would be less likely, I believe.
What I was going to say was, the problem with that is, from what we know, a lot of the people that actually did the Recruiter Friend program and got high enough, the most known is the creator of Control Alt Delete. He went in there and he was going to pitch idea for Shark Crab, Battle Shark Crab. It was like the shark with the metal legs and stuff like that, and he had a bunch of abilities. He had the community set that up. He went in there and they told him, you're going to be working on one of the pre-made champions. So that was the biggest thing for people, was that if you got enough people, you're going to be able to go in there and get something in there like that. That's where the biggest thing was shut down. From what I know is, if you're going to have an idea, it's going to have to be something really spectacular, and if so, it's
got to be backed by the community.
Got to be backed by community hard. Anybody can make a champion. And
heck, we've made champions before.
But the thing is, though, Riot gets probably so many of those and flooded that they're going to have to put blinders on. And coming from a game designer standpoint, I understand where they're coming from. Is if you bring in one fan created thing, then there's going to be a reason to bring any other champion in there, and people are going to find that option and it's going to bring it in. So from that standpoint, as a designer, you're going to have to kind of step back and be like, we can't really do this unless there's such an outcry for it. Hence why they do skins and stuff like that, because it can't really affect the game, because they're just skins. A whole character means that you're going to have to bring the guy in, and if you don't, it's going to be a lot of problems.
Yeah, that's huge backlash in communities these days.
Communities, lawsuit, legal standpoints, all sorts of things, because if he puts it on the forums, right there is the proof that the user has brought it up beforehand, and if you take it from that forums without his permission, or you put it in without crediting him, serious knockbacks.
So while I do think it's possible to get some influence on the game from the community standpoint, it's a very arduous road, and it's very easy to tip either direction, so it does make them hesitant. So I wouldn't put your hopes up, but that does not mean by any means not to put it up. I mean, it's great for just interacting with your fellow fan and getting feedback and just flexing your creative juices. Why not?
Yeah, I have no problem with it, but like, as far as that standpoint goes as a designer, it's like it's not going to happen because of the fact of so many problems and all the sue happy people.
And that's it for questions this week.
We have an interesting thing. We got this on the forums this week. It is from our fan Rai, and it is a fan art of us. And this is something I was hoping someone would make for a long time, and I think it is amazing.
He captured my rosy cheeks.
I'm so tiny.
You are tiny.
I like how little facial features Timo has. It does resemble me a bit, and
yes.
I love that.
You are very unattractive. You're right.
Hey, bitches love Timo. Well, guys, if you have any other fan or anything like that about the game, about us, the show, anything we've done, any stupid things we have done in the past,
or more importantly, if you have any questions about us or the show, about our past, or about our genitals, please.
Whoa!
Oh, I'm sorry. Not about us. It's about our genitals. Please post them in the comment section below. Ask us anything about the game, whatever. Or you can email them to us at spazticgaming@gmail.com or submit them on the forums at spazticgaming.com under the forums section. You can find both the links to that in the information below. Check that out. We also got a new thing.
We have a Twitter account. I set it up because I thought a few people pitched that it would be easier to let people know when new videos are updated for the show and stuff. It is at Spaztic Gaming. You can check it out. It has our logo on there.
What is Twitter? What is that?
I still don't know.
Oh.
I just put links on there and then people respond.
Links? Like the Bobcat?
Yes.
That's cool. I want that now.
Yeah. Other than that, I have no idea what people use Twitter for. But yeah, if you guys want to keep informed, I update the Facebook whenever I can, but the Twitter will be primarily what I'll be updating new videos for and stuff like that if you're not constantly watching YouTube. So
this is Axis.
And Water Elemental.
And give me back that gun.
No.